Hey guys, Sunday here bringing you another audio commentary. And yeah, more coverage on the WCG 2009 for Korea here. And we're actually moving on to the second series of games. And this is actually between Jangbi and WinDy here. Jangbi being the very well-known Protoss player, very good. His PvT is very, very good. And WinDy being the no-name Korean who actually was in the top 4 in the qualifier tournament and made it into this the real qualifier tournament, I guess you could say. Looking pretty nervous though. How can you not be nervous? He's going against Jangbi. He's playing a TVP against Jangbi. Definitely Jangbi's best matchup here. Really, this is his matchup that's always been on top. He really became famous after his ridiculous Nada against the Storms all over Nada's tanks, got so many kills and just walked over Nada after Nada had a pretty big lead. Since the day of the Storms, he's had basically been famous here. But and then it was his PvZ that got better. But his PvP is the matchup that still needs work here. And really, him and Stork are kind of buddies. I mean, really, they're on the same team. They play at about the same skill level now, which is kind of sad to say, to be honest, because I think Stork has the potential and could be a lot more. I just think he mentally struggles. But anyways, it looks like this can be played on Heartbreak Ridge. And really, WinDy's got a battle. He's going TVP against Jangbi. Not a matchup that I'd want to play. We do have Jangbi spawning at the 3 o'clock position as the orange Protoss here, and then we have WinDy as the brown Terran spawning at the 9 o'clock position. And Heartbreak Ridge is actually it's pretty even as a map here, about 51% I think it was for TVP. One thing to note about this map is I feel it's a pretty hard map to get a good flank for Protoss against Terran. Really, you can't, because I just feel like if Terran does a slow push and they're slowly pushing across the map, they can go ahead and ridge up on those high grounds, lay some mines, and slowly move. And I think it's pretty hard for Protoss to get a good flank off. Just because you can come through the middle, but the middle is such a narrow choke, and you obviously can't go all the way around with your army, or that would be like ridiculous to try to time, to try to come, around the whole lake in the middle, basically go all the way around and come from 2 angles. That's a pretty ballsy pincer attack, and it could really fail in just the time delay and the timing that would be ridiculously hard here. Looks like we are going to see pylon into 1 gate here from Jangbi, so we aren't going to see any cheese. More importantly, really Jangbi obviously not going to cheese, but his opponent, we are seeing that SCV come out here. And now going back, it looks like he was just checking for cheese. Dude, Jangbi's not going to cheese you, man. I think he can beat you straight up, but that kid looks pretty convinced. I don't know exactly how good he is. We are seeing the assimilators. We are going to see 1 gate tech, very standard for the matchup of PvT here. So we are going to see WinDy. 1 second. I'm excited to see what we're going to see from him. We are going to see the gas go up. I think probably because of the distance on this map, I would think a 1 rack or a 1 fact into Expo. Go ahead and get your economy rolling. Protoss, one thing to note is an early push could be kind of devastating because they can actually separate you from your third base. Because Jangbi right now, we have the cybernetics core warping in, by the way. But Jangbi, where he is, he's going to take that 3rd expansion at the 1 o'clock position, and early pushes can separate their 3rd from their 2nd. You can get pretty good angle because you can go up by their 3rd, take the high ground, be shooting down on anything that your opponent sends up you while you go ahead and pound at that 3rd. But I don't think Jangbi's going to have to struggle with that too much because it is Jangbi, and he's playing a guy who's not even a pro gamer. You'd have to have quite a bit of courage to do exactly what Jangbi's going to do. We do have the first Zealot out here. That's probably just for in case he was going against cheese, basically. He's going to try to come in here and get SCV kills. And really, with the distance in this map, this should be held to a minimal. We do see the range being upgraded, although that could be canceled. But Jangbi's a player who plays pretty standard PvT, loves his Psionic Storm, likes to macro up, and really, I do like his PvT style. He's actually one of my favorite pro gamers. Him and Stork are basically my favorite pro gamers. I'd have to say I like Stork a little more, just because I guess he's been along a little bit longer. We do see the 2nd gate coming in, so we're going to see 2 gate goon, pretty standard. Basically, Jangbi, I think he's saying that if I play standard, Don't be ballsy with an early expansion per se, and just check for cheese, scout for anything, and just know what my opponent's doing and scout correctly. Then I'm going to be able to beat this guy convincingly. Going to be able to beat him 2-0 here. We have the group of Marines and medics out here, or group of Marines out. I'm going to be able to, that Zealot's actually going to be reflected. Good building position, I have to say, by WinDy here. That's actually really good building position. Going to be able to keep that Zealot harassment to a minimal. He's going to take a lot of hits even to try to run it in there. And Jangbi is going to have to be forced to back off with that Zealot here. And here comes that one SCV to draw some fire. It looks like he's going to be able to scouting with that. And this WinDy is actually scouting all over the map, scouting for cheese, robotics facility. That's what he was checking for in the top left. Jangbi with a Zealot and a Dragoon is going to come in here and try to put pressure with that racks, though, hiding those Marines under the racks a little bit. Going to be able to take some hits on these SCVs here. With the second Goon coming, Jangbi, basically, he's going to be able to put some pressure on. Range is going to kick in. He's going to be able to continue putting pressure on until that tank pops for WinDy. And then the war has to stop, but then Jangbi has to back off. Generally, I don't think WinDy's a player who will lose to some early Goon pressure, especially when it's not even a 10-15 gay here. The scout's just going to go ahead and get in. Jangbi not really too worried about revealing his tech. We are seeing first person from WinDy here, which is kind of exciting, kind of interesting to see. Actually, pretty good play with the SCVs in front, Marines behind in the tanks. He's no newbie. I'm assuming an A on iCup. We do see the robotics facility with the barracks being landed, and really all the pressure from Jangbi is going to have to stop. Might be able to take the high ground, take some shots on this barracks, but really not going to be able to do too much damage, as if WinDy can micro like he should be able to if he's even in this tournament at all. The barracks is taking a couple hits here. Jangbi WinDy waiting for that siege mode here, and we are seeing the robotics facility. We are going to see some 2-gate tech. Looks like we do have the natural expo going down from Jangbi here. He probably feels pretty confident that he can crush an attack, considering WinDy right now hasn't been able to even hold his expansion or hold his barracks here. We are seeing obviously a 1-fact into expo by this point, and those siege tanks are going to siege up, going to be able to hold this expansion, and Jangbi's just trying to be a pain, trying to harass them and get the newbie, so to speak, off his game. The Nexus warping in, pretty standard play here from Jangbi. We are seeing the observatory, wants to know exactly what his opponent's up to, not even going to worry about those Reavers, just knows if he can macro up, play standard, he's going to be in a great situation. Second factory going up, very, very standard timing, nice timing here. Rax first coming out to scout, and then to be the spotter here, and then the command center to follow, and he's going to be able to secure that expansion. Jangbi seeing this, going to be able to go ahead and take his third expansion right now, or is he just scouting? All right, never mind. Basically, he could take his third expansion, double expanding here. We are going to see that third expansion go up in the top right, I believe, fairly soon. That probe hasn't quite left there, sending some goons up there, sending some goons out, just wants to keep vulture harassment to a minimal, and that I think he is going to take that third in the top right pretty soon. Pretty standard when your opponent does 1-fact into expo that you double expand. And that SCV right now, he's really in the dark until he gets that scan up, and it looks like the top right has the pylon going up, that probe sitting there. We are going to see the expansion right there, and Jangbi playing very, very standard, and I don't feel this favors. I don't think this is very good for WinDy at all. Really, he has to supply people going down. Really,